What's one thing that you've always felt driven to do? Just how would your life change if you did it? The thing that separates those who achieve extraordinary success from those who settle isn't talent, luck, or circumstances. It's hunger. And this hunger, it's not a fleeting ambition, but it is a relentless drive to create, grow, and to contribute in meaningful ways. If you're anything like me and you are interested in a deep dive on how hunger fuels success, why it never goes away, and how we cultivate and channel it to live a purposeful and impactful life, then by the end of this discussion, we'll both walk away with actionable steps on how to embrace that hunger as our greatest strength. If you don't know, my name is Chad Joshua, and I am working my way through writing a 100-song catalog. I write songs about populism, freedom, and liberty, and this is my artist channel that I use to promote those songs. In my free time, I like to have these discussions considering all of the things that we can implement into the effort of working towards the things we'd like to achieve to better fortify our effort. See to it that we're making the most out of our time. You know, whatever it is that you're doing, whatever you're working towards, whatever goal you're trying to achieve, you are only as good as the amount of energy that you have available to do it. And it is that energy that's driven by our hunger. That hunger is like an engine. Constant fueling keeps it running, propelling you forward no matter the terrain. But just how would your life change if you leaned fully into that hunger to create and grow? More importantly, just what is it exactly? But before we get too far into that, let's just take a deeper look at the nature of it. Hunger is a deep and intrinsic desire for growth and for fulfillment. It doesn't have anything to do with dissatisfaction, but it's rather a commitment to potential. Hunger drives us to success because it pushes you to overcome fear and to take action. It keeps you moving long after others have given up. And you can be sure it is not a weakness. It is the very force that fuels your every potential for any capacity of greatness. Hunger is like a fire. It needs to be tended, and you can learn how to use it to illuminate and to transform. You know, for me, in all of my every effort as a songwriter, as a music producer, are all completely driven by hunger, as it is a compulsion that pushes me to continue on a path that isn't so easy to define or so easy to navigate as any more traditional pursuit that one could choose. And yet here I am, year after year, decade after decade, regardless of how many years that I've spent dealing with more challenging situations than anything else, and yet I'm still completely locked into focus and refining my effort to dial in, see that all through to fruition. And that is including this effort to get outside every day and have all of these discussions with you in order to better build my reach, to be able to connect with a wider audience. That way I have a community of people whom to appreciate the music that I write. That all is a giant leap of faith. And God knows, if I allow myself to spend too much time recognizing that, I can get a little bit weak-kneed, so I dare not. Instead, I just lean into the compulsion that it provides me to just keep going. Because at the end of the day, we die out anyway. So why not be beautifully, dutifully true to the perfectly beautiful you and see to the things that you feel compelled and have a hunger to achieve? So what is one area of your life where that hunger to be more could create something extraordinary? And just how do we go about nurturing hunger? It starts by setting ambitious but clear goals to channel your energy. You do have to know what your why is, so be sure that you've defined it for yourself, so that way throughout the entire process you can regularly revisit it in your effort to feed that hunger. Then you need to surround yourself with people who inspire and challenge you. Once you have a handle on all of that, it's time to start to integrate discipline together with your hunger. Work on the consistency of everything, because it is that consistency which is the bridge between hunger and achievement. Avoid letting yourself give over to distractions and keep yourself focused on what it is that matters most. When you feed your hunger with intentional actions, it turns your potential into progress. But if it is going to bear any fruit, then you have to be diligently tending the garden. But it isn't easy. It never is. There's things that come along that will attempt to detour your path, dissuade you from your opportunity. So ask yourself, how much closer would you be to your goal if you just let that hunger lead you? Oftentimes, even despite the compulsion to do something, the hunger to go somewhere, we can allow that fear of failure or fear of judgment keep us from taking any initiative to act on the compulsion, to act on the instincts, to act on that drive. There are always constant distractions in life, and we can get caught up in the shiny new object syndrome. For me, I have a big problem with this because I haven't been able to cultivate the reach that I'd like to. So in terms of my efforts with promotion of my music and using the platforms to do that, I follow one strategist device after the next, and I'm so far off of my own intuition at this point, I could barely recognize it, but we all have work to do, including myself. Another big trap that comes up is this idea of complacency or just settling on good enough. So there are a number of ways that even having yourself armed with hunger and compulsion, you could still have yourself knocked sideways and off course. To combat all of this, it's important to remember, as always, that setbacks are part of the process. They are not a sign to stop. Fear is a signal that you're on the edge of growth. Keep in mind that hunger thrives when you learn to move through fear and challenges and use them as stepping stones. Hunger, it doesn't fade because success is the journey. It isn't the destination, and each goal that you achieve, it ignites new ambition. When hunger serves as a greater cause, it becomes unstoppable. Channel your drive into contributions that affect others. Hunger is like a lighthouse, constant guiding and illuminating the path. Identify one area of your life where you've been holding back and take an action, bold action. Follow your hunger and move closer to your goals. Hunger is a spark, lights your fire. Feed it, trust it, let it guide you to places you never imagined you would go. In the meantime, keep your head up. I'm going to keep my head up. And if you haven't had a chance to hear my new song, you can listen to it here. We'll talk again soon.